Hello and welcome to Seniors Count. I'm your host and my name is Greg Jocelyn. On our show, we believe that you were the foundation on which Boston was built. So our goal is to connect you to resources, benefits, and information to enhance your life. Thank you for joining us. My guest today is Kristen Alberino. She joins us today from the Social Security Administration Office with more information on how you can make retirement easy online. Welcome to the show, Kristen.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
So before we start, I was hoping you could tell me a little bit more about Social Security's history, because you just had an anniversary.
We did. We just celebrated our 79th year anniversary this past August.
Congratulations.
So the Social Security Act was passed in 1935, and a lot of people don't realize that it just started out as a retirement program. And it was soon realized that, you know, people were working, paying into Social Security, leaving behind spouses, children. So they shortly after created survivor's insurance. Since then, they've added disability insurance, Medicare. We took over the SSI program in the 70s, which is like a low income, low asset program. In 2003, they added Medicare Part D. So Social Security certainly is a lot more than just a retirement program at this point.
Amazing.
And we've never defaulted on a check. So that's
great.
A good track record.
It's an amazing track record. And how many people do you serve on average? Do you know?
Well, the Social Security, currently 57 million people receive a benefit. Yeah, that's estimated to be about 1 in 6 receive some sort of benefit from Social Security. So the biggest piece of the pie is retirees, but children of deceased workers, children of disabled workers, spouses of retired or deceased workers. So, I mean, Social Security is a financial lifeline to millions of Americans.
It is. It's so much a part of our lives. And
It really is.
We forget about that, you know, especially if we're applying to a job, like, oh, why do you need my Social Security card? Well, actually, that's very much a part of your savings and your livelihood.
It absolutely is. For most of us, Social Security retirement is only going to replace about 40% of what we had before we retired. So it's such a huge piece of the retirement puzzle, but not intended just to be your only means of income at retirement. So we always want to make sure that people take into consideration pensions and investments as well as their Social Security.
Right, and savings. It's true that there is a stereotype that, okay, once I retire, I'll have my Social Security and that will be fine.
Right.
But then we come to find out that living on Social Security alone is very challenging, and it's defeating to some people as well, because you've worked so hard, and then suddenly you're really scraping by, and having to be creative in ways to do it. So I like that you mentioned that.
Right, and Social Security, even in 1935, its intention was never to be your sole source of income at retirement. That was never its intention. It was always intended to supplement, pensions and savings and other things. So it's really important. And socialsecurity.gov has wonderful tools also to make sure that people know what to expect at retirement. One of our greatest and easiest tools is the retirement estimator, and I highly recommend that everyone use it. It is. It lets you create different scenarios and will actually pull in your true Social Security earnings and let you play with it and see what your benefit would be at 62 as opposed to 66, as opposed to 70. And it's wonderful, and it gives you an actual figure. So, we always want to make sure that, people are prepared. And that's just one of the tools that we have on our website that is just very simple to use and very eye-opening.
So you can do that online. It's a calculator
Yeah.
that will take a look at your whole picture. So how does it work?
Yeah, it will actually pull in your Social Security earnings. So it asks you around 3 or 4 questions.
Okay.
Name, social, where were you born, to make sure that it's really you. And then it will just put it in like a chart. and every scenario you create will give you how your amounts vary. Social Security retirement benefits, you can get them as early as age 62. But if you take them at
see.
62, they're reduced because that's no one's full retirement age. Full retirement age is different for everyone, and it's dependent on the year that you were born. So the folks that are coming in today, their full retirement age is 66. That's when they would get 100%. For myself, being born after 1960, my full retirement age is 67.
67.
Yeah, so everybody's full retirement age is different. And the estimator will let you really see how your benefits change depending on when you decide to take it.
I really like that it's strategic in a way. It's being thoughtful about thinking about your future in advance so you're not just scrambling at the end.
Exactly.
Realizing, oh, I didn't realize that my Social Security would be this if I take it early, for
Exactly,
instance.
right, right.
So for those who do take Social Security early, even say they wanted to work a part-time job, how would that affect their Social Security income while
Yeah,
they're working?
that's a great question. A lot of people still think that once they get Social Security, regardless of age, that they're no longer able to work. Social Security, if you decide to take your Social Security retirement early, so that would be pre-full retirement age, 62 for example, you are limited to how much you can make without having to pay back Social Security. For 2014, you can work and make $15,480 without having to pay Social Security back anything.
Wow.
But if you go over that, you only have to pay back $1 for every two that you go over.
I see.
So if you go over by $1,000, you have to pay back one time $500.
Sure.
So, but the great thing is that once you hit full retirement age, regardless of when you decided to take it, from that month on, you can work and make whatever you want, no limit.
That is great.
It is.
That's great because I think, people can retire, but they also want to be involved and active.
Absolutely.
That sometimes can mean volunteer work. That sometimes can mean employment as well. I mean, life gets more expensive by the year.
Absolutely.
So it's nice to know that, and again, it goes back to your original comment about Social Security is not a replacement income, that you should be creative in thinking about how you're going to save.
Absolutely.
So that's great. And so I guess this is a similar question about, we were talking about other pensions, other income. So will that affect Social Security at all if it's like a pre-established?
Right. If you worked and paid into Social Security and while you were working, you were contributing to Social Security and you're going to get a pension from that work, that pension will not affect your Social Security. The only time a pension could affect a person's Social Security benefit is if the work is from a municipality where you were not contributing Social Security taxes. So in that case, you really want to do your homework,
Yes.
figure out, how your Social Security will be affected by your pension. But in most cases, if it's not a municipality, teachers, police officers, then it doesn't affect your Social Security.
Right. And thinking about when you should retire, so 62, most people start thinking about at 66, depending on the year. But I mean, besides the logistics and the qualifications of age, what other considerations should people be thinking about in making that decision? Because it is a big decision that affects not only your life, but your family's life.
It really does.
As well.
And the most common question I get is financially what makes the most sense as far as when to take it. And truly, there's just no answer. Everybody's situation is different. You need to take into consideration, are you happy working? Are you healthy?
Yes, right.
What's longevity like in your family? Do you have people who financially depend on you? Those are the things that we need to take into consideration. That's the most important thing. Everybody's situation is different. Some people absolutely want to wait till 70 and maximize their Social Security and get what we call delayed retirement credits. Other people are done. They don't have people that depend on them financially. They don't have a mortgage and things like that, so they take it at the earliest point possible. But those are the things that a person needs to take into consideration.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I mean, you're talking about thinking about health as well. I mean, that's really important, factoring in your family history and your own health and how, because I mean, sometimes you really do have to take care of yourself first.
Right.
I mean, you really should all the time. But
Right.
I think making those considerations are also really important.
It is. And
relevant.
another thing to mention when we're talking about health is that Social Security, retirement, when you stop working, and when you take your Social Security benefits, Medicare is always 65. So that's a
was gonna
very
ask that.
important piece to remember, that you have to be 65. So even if you're continuing to work, you might want to pick up a piece of Medicare, Medicare Part A, which is free hospital insurance, premium free. And, that's another thing that approaching 65, you want to know when you should be applying for Medicare and things, because that's different than when you decide to take your payment. They don't go hand in hand.
That's a really good point. Yeah, thinking about how your coverage is going to affect your Social Security.
Right.
So we've talked a lot about, when should I retire, and, thinking of all these considerations. But so say I decided, I'm not going to be retiring anytime soon, but say I decided, I'm going to retire. I mean, what are the ways that, I could do it?
Yeah. The easiest, most convenient way is to go to socialsecurity.gov. On the top, you click on Benefits, Retirement, complete your application online. It takes about 15 minutes. And the nice part is it doesn't go to cyberspace or anything. It goes right to your local Social Security office, so based on zip code. Somebody in the office will see it the next morning, pull it in, review it, make sure that nothing's funny, and get your check started up. I mean, it's as simple as that. Medicare can be done online in as little time as 10 minutes, and you get your card in a few weeks. So truly the easiest way to apply for retirement is online. Most of, more than 50% of our applications do come in that way. And I never hear a bad word about, people who really missed coming into the Social Security office, and you know what I mean?
Right.
Not filing at home. So, like I said, we have wonderful options on our website for tools. And retirement, if you don't want to go online, that's fine. I highly recommend that you make an appointment one way or another. You can call our 1-800 number, which is 1-800-772-1213, and make a retirement appointment. You don't have to come in. You can actually make an appointment for one of our representatives to call you and do the application over the phone. But of course, don't be surprised if you have to wait a period of time before you can get that appointment, because we have a lot of people at this point coming in and filing for retirement. So that's
Right.
another reason why having the option to do it online is wonderful.
Yeah, you're mentioning, millions of people retiring and using, Social Security for many different reasons. Obviously not in the Boston office, over 1 million.
Right.
But
right.
that makes sense that the online options are so great and popular now, because didn't you say you can retire online in 10 minutes?
Exactly. Right. 15 minutes, that's it. And, basic questions. Most people know when they want to retire. And again, you want to make sure that you're doing the right thing. You can use our retirement estimator first. So for anybody who is thinking about retiring or already retiring, the latest and greatest feature on our website is the My Social Security account.
Wonderful.
My Social Security is a way for us to see our Social Security information. So when you go to our website, socialsecurity.gov, right in the middle, you can create a My Social Security account. Now, we used to mail out these statements. Around 3 months before your birthday, you would get this green little letter that had all your Social Security earnings, estimates of what you'd get at retirement. Well, we don't mail those letters out automatically anymore. So for a person to see all that information, you can create a My Social Security account. And when you create one, you'll actually see all your earnings just the way it used to appear in your statement. It's wonderful. So
That's great.
we want to make sure that people realize that we're not sending them out right now. And that information is still so important. A person wants to be able to, at least once a year, look at their Social Security earnings record and make sure that they're getting credit for all the years that they have worked and paid into Social Security. Because every year counts. You want to make sure you're getting credit for everything you've done. And again, it's important information showing you how much you'll get at retirement and things like that. So the My Social Security account is wonderful. And for people who are collecting Social Security, they're not left out. They can create a My Social Security account, and it actually opens the door to a whole suite of services, such as updating their address and phone number, direct deposit. They can print benefit verifications letters on their own instead of having to go into the Social Security office to get that letter. It's wonderful. And the My Social Security has teamed up with Experian, or our website. So when you try to create an account, it's going to ask you some really unique questions to make sure that you are who you say you are. And if you're wondering where we're getting that information, it's because we've teamed up with Experian, the credit reporting agency, and we get those, it pulls in those questions. And again, that's at your initial sign up to make sure that you are really you before we're going to give you access to the information.
So it gives constituents a confidence that you're secure.
Exactly.
And that you're going to take care of their information.
Absolutely.
There's so many exciting things you can do on Social Security, and there are also some great commercials. You brought one of them, so I was hoping we can show it because I think that it gives an example of how Social Security has been really creative in sending a message. So let's take a look.
People, do you know nothing about how to retire properly? It's so ridiculously easy. You can do it right online. Look, it's simple. Gather some papers, relax after gathering papers, press some buttons on the screeny thing, take a little break if you want, push more buttons, and voila, you're retired. Millions of you people have already retired online. It gives me hope for your species. Well, some.
That's great. You're not going to get a cat at the Social Security office,
No, you're not.
Unfortunately.
No, unfortunately not.
So yeah, and while we're on that topic, let's talk a little bit about, tell me a little bit more about the benefits letters online and also in person, because those are a big, at least for seniors, benefits letters are a huge part of Social Security when you're receiving other assistance,
Yeah.
or if you're a part of an income contingent program
Exactly.
that's helping you save money. So I just.
One of the biggest workloads that Social Security has are issuing those benefit verifications. And although it's fairly quick, we have in a bigger office, such as a Roxbury or a Boston, up to 800 people a week coming in
Right.
for
Oh,
a benefit
that's a
verification
huge
letter.
amount.
So it's a huge workload, and we realize how important it is for seniors, for folks with disabilities, because they need to, on occasion, prove how much they get from Social Security monthly. And that's what that benefit letter is. A lot of times for housing, like you said, fuel assistance or any other sort of assistance. So, a lot of times you have to take half a day just to get this letter. And now with the My Social Security account, regardless of what sort of benefit you get, you can instantaneously print that benefit letter whenever you need it. For those people who don't have a printer, they can actually request that one be mailed home. So instead of going into the office, you can actually request that one be mailed home to you. So if you don't have a printer, you can save it as a PDF and email it to somebody so that maybe they can print it. It has personal information on it, so you want to be careful with that. But, it's just wonderful to save you a trip or something like that you can do on your own.
Yeah, I want to highlight that note because that's such an interesting thing. If you don't have a printer, you can just send it and it's in the mail.
Yeah.
Through online, you can request for it to be sent to you.
Right.
That's great. And also, you can go to a library too, if you don't
Absolutely.
have a printer or if you don't have a computer. I just
Right.
wanted to mention
Oh
that.
yeah, and part of my job is doing outreach, and I do retirement seminars or seminars for advocates of persons with disabilities and talk about our disability programs. And our newest initiative is actually going out to libraries or employers or any organization that has a few computers or a resource center and assisting folks in signing up for their My Social Security account. So I would be there for technical support and just to make sure that if a person makes a mistake on their questions that are verifying who they are, that we can hopefully get them new questions and make the process a little easier. So if anyone is interested in having me come out or one of my colleagues come out for a speech or to do one of these events, they can actually request a speaker on our website, socialsecurity.gov, and it will kind of trickle down to the Boston area and get to me. But also, you can call our 1-800 number. I'm located in the Quincy office, but I handle Quincy, Norwood, Boston, the Roxbury area, Dorchester, Roslindale. I have quite a big area in Boston and the surrounding areas. So you can always call our 1-800 number and ask to get sent to the Quincy office, and I'd be happy to come out.
That's great, because I think the more that you know, the better, the more prepared you are.
Yeah.
And that was my next question. I mean, what kind of resources do you provide or refer people to when they want to sort of ask a lot of questions? Because every situation is different, and there's a lot of questions. So
There is, and I love going out and doing the talks, and Employers will have me come out and talk to their employees at a lunch and learn or for breakfast, and it's a free service the Social Security offers. So I'm always making sure to go out and answer as many questions as I can face to face. So, I highly recommend that employers and organizations take advantage of us because we are throughout New England and available to come out and speak to anyone. It doesn't have to be folks that are approaching retirement age. It can be for anyone.
It's true, it's definitely. And just want to go back a little bit to the benefits letter because there was an announcement recently that the benefits letters were going to be going away, and that's no longer true. So I was just wondering if you could elaborate on that a little bit more.
Of course. So we started issuing letters to all of our stakeholders in the community, and we let them know that beginning October 1st, we were no longer going to be issuing the letters in the office. So because it's such a huge workload and because of budget and things like that, we need the time to get people paid and get them their check. Right. Those letters went out, and then another letter went out letting them know that is no longer. So October 1st, for those of you who are thinking that that's still the case, October 1st will still be giving out those letters in the office.
So you can still go to your local Social Security.
But one thing that did change was that August 1st of this year, we stopped giving out Social Security number printouts. On occasion, a person will need to come into Social Security and get verification of what their number is. Typically, it's because someone has gotten a new job and the employer's asking them for verification of what their Social Security number is. That is not a certified letter or, official document, and it can be tampered with. So it could open the door to fraud if somebody misplaces that. So we're no longer giving those out. So that did take effect August 1st. But I want to make mention that if someone is asked by their employer to verify their Social Security number, if they have their Social Security card, that's what they should be providing. If they do not have their card, the employer does have access or a way to verify a person's Social Security number on our website.
Right.
So socialsecurity.gov has business services online where the employer can verify that the information their new hire gave them is accurate. So, and they can get instant, yes, that's a number. It's not going to give the employer information you didn't voluntarily give them, but it's just a wonderful thing. And so those letters are no longer happening in the Social Security offices.
And that's good. I think definitely being cautious about fraud when it comes to your number and your card is really important. And I think that message is definitely reiterated a lot, but that card isn't something that you necessarily need very often. So
Right. And most of the time we'll tell people that if you don't need your card, don't run into the Social Security office and request a replacement, because a lot of people don't ask for that.
Right.
Most of the time, the most important thing is just knowing what your number is.
Yeah, and not, carrying it around with you.
Right.
Sometimes people will carry that around or, leave it in a house unlocked or, so trying to keep that protected, I think is definitely key.
Definitely. It is the link to awful things that could happen. And,
it is.
So always keep it in the safe deposit box, never keep it in your wallet. But if you do need a verification of your Social Security number, you would just go into the office and apply for a replacement card. That's not a problem. And you would have to come in with 2 forms of identification. And we would get that replacement card within a few weeks.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, so this wraps up our Social Security discussion. So I want to thank you for coming to Seniors Count. And I hope some more seniors will connect to you. So to have you speak more about this, because there's so many questions, we could keep going.
Absolutely. I could go all day. So.
All right. Thank you, Kristen.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So, and thank you for watching Seniors Count. It's brought to you by Mayor Martin J. Walsh and our Commissioner Emily Shea. To contact us at the Elderly Commission, you can call 617-635-4366 or the Mayor's 24-hour hotline at 617-635-4500. You can email us at elderly@boston.gov, and we hope you find us on Facebook. So take care, and we'll see you next time.
I see skies of blue and clouds of white, bright blessed days dark sacred nights, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I think to myself,